Good morning, good morning. Leroy, where's ala, chief? Where's ala? Ke kopa o re o ntshwarelenyana fela 2 minutes. Jiggy, 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 jiggy. What's happening, my dog?
So ne ke tlotlela batho fela 2 minutes nyana fela I mean bargain kind of because of a discovery that I made about myself actually.
Okay, all right,
Okay,
all right,
it's
all right.
fine.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My sincere apologies. I got entangled with something that I had to do, and multitasking still a struggle for me. So I was like, no, let me ask Abutiliro to step in. And happy, is it Tuesday, right? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hope your week is going well. Your Monday was lekker, and I hope all the best for your week. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I see you all. I won't be able to mention all names, but I see you all. Thank you for joining in. Tap the screen, do the thing. Lee, have you already done the ads and tell the people about YouTube and everything else?
Yes, I did, but you know what? Like, let me do them now again because I'm gonna get a bargain. I'm gonna slice it up. But anyway, so guys, remember to get yourself as an as that village in right there, and then I just follow them there, and then like thank you very much to our sponsor bargain because Thursday we're gonna have a special show actually, yeah. Thanks to the sponsor actually. Just invite her. But then you can catch this what's that? Like replays that we make here more YouTube and then you can catch up there. 947. But you know what bragging can like do not worry about that actually. That was not your fault, my leader. So chill now. But then we appreciate you actually that you came through and then we just had a great time, no? You really cannot be blamed for as in like what's that someone else's flops. So chill and penchaga. But anyway, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Albert Leroy. Liputsi, you are really touching my heart right now. Thank you so much for caring so much. And I haven't had it, and um, I hope I'll be able to have it before I continue. But yeah, I heard about the unfortunate situation that happened yesterday. But yeah, like Leroy said, we will definitely make sure that such does not happen again. And we can only do that by standing up for what we believe in, which is the rules that we have set. And yeah, we'll take it like that. Nonetheless, guys, I hope you had a very, 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 very wonderful day yesterday. Today, likewise, I believe the last, was it on Thursday, Leo, or was it on Tuesday? I think it was on Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, where we had a wonderful uh, session, and the question was about marriage, and it got people talking. A lot of people had opinions. Some had questions that could not be answered, and the request was that we do a part two. So let me know, guys, on the comments. Would you like to talk about that today? So there might be some people who are joining us for the first time. So maybe they did not catch that. We see you, Timash. Maybe they did not catch that. Hopes P-Way, we see you there. So Lee, I don't know, should we just post the same one, or you gonna do part two on that background?
Uh, I think we should do the same one because I'm a bit held up yeah, so
Not a problem, Maputi, not a problem. So we did have a bit of this engagement, and again today we will try. I always try and have us talk about things that we can easily move in different directions. So go back wild in terms of the angle you want to take it. Thank you for sharing, Kiachile. Thank you so much. And I encourage you all, please share the live. I see about 18 of you all, but I'm only seeing 5 shares there. So if you can just kindly share the live so that it notifies everyone that we are here. Do the heart me, Watinton Tony, do Amama Roses, tap the screen while we edit. Much appreciated. So in the meantime, Lee, can you play the disclaimer, please?
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of the individuals participating in the conversation and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the podcast host or any affiliated organization. Listener discretion is advised.
And let me remind you guys that like literally, we take this very seriously. Actually, like Horborn, you flop me out. We are here. We're gonna respect each other here. You can say no. He can say yes, but okay. So sharp. Yeah. All right.
All right, thank you about that, Leroy, or for that. And just to also clarify, when we say maybe we take it for granted, but people understand when we say that you can disagree with someone's opinion without attacking them. Maybe I'll give you an examples of attacking people. If I say something that you don't like, and you call me or you title me something stupid, whatever thing that you will call me, you are attacking me. You are no longer addressing my issue, or rather my topic, or what I'm bringing, my view. You are now addressing me by calling me a name. And that's where now we are losing it. So you can just say, I disagree with your view because your view is like this. Your view is like that. You are not now calling me that, but my view does not, and that is also your opinion. So in doing so, let's make sure that we make sure that we deal with it that particular manner. So don't attack anyone, don't attack anyone's character, don't make any conclusion about someone purely because of their opinion and calling them names and saying they are like this when you don't even know them. That's just where it is, because when you start calling people by name and titling them and giving them names that they are not, that's where the problem starts. So maybe that's what we should learn to engage. That you disagree with an opinion, you engage with their opinion, you are not attacking the person. All right. So that's just about that. And I'm gonna take a who and who. Yes, take you. Me, I just arrive, and so uyamfaka nje. But in any case, when you told on yourself, Leroy Gore, I get wa re wa tshaba he gwa tsa gwa thunya, so maybe about two some vanaka. Oh,
Yeah, tell really. Left is my best. It's fine. It's fine.
yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, here is the topic. If you feel that you did not throw in, your 10 rand, you did not throw in your 100 rand, please come through. Let's talk about it. Is marriage still attractive to you? People brought in very interesting things, because it was not just a cut through answer to say yes it is or no it is. It was yes it is, however this. It was no because of that, and this is because of that, and therefore that, and no. So there were quite important things raised. There were quite some good advice given in terms of if you want to get into this thing. And for me today, I would like to start it off by saying, or rather even asking, hore, um, if marriage is not the goal, perhaps, for you, what am I looking at, Lee? Oh, let's give women the chance. Okay. Actually, there were quite a lot of men who came through on Thursday. So maybe let's hear. No, 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 ma'am. No, it's not men only. Renee, it's not men only. Come through. Come through. So maybe a bit of context onto why we asked this question. So day in and day out, we are hearing issues about Njolo. We are hearing issues about statistics. We are hearing a lot of things about this whole institution of marriage, and I tend to question these ideals to say, is the issue marriage as an institution, or is the issue how people do marriage, because perhaps they're a bit ill-informed, or we have just different views about marriage and we have not yet talked about it. And what I said on Thursday was that perhaps as a community we need to get to the point where we can have basics of saying, if we are talking about marriage, these are the basics. All right. And building onto these basics, then we can now begin to talk about the differentiations of people. This one is like that, all of that and whatnot. But in the very basics, there must be this, that, and that for this thing to work. And we have these things because we have people who have been married for 10, 20, 50, 60 years. They have walked the journey. They can share how they got there, how they made it work. And all we do is just collect all of that info, draw a young similarity, or draw a common ground, and say, okay, so far it makes sense for this to be the basic, for this not to be the basic. So, but now I was checking out, I don't know, Leroy, if you saw this video. I forgot this guy. He likes to put, but I think it's on Instagram. I haven't seen him on TikTok. And he likes putting stats. Black guy with glasses. He likes putting
Oh,
stats, about essay and things like that.
ke
So
ke
yeah.
ke Mustafa, yeah.
Moosh, there we go. So then he was presenting recently, I think it was just yesterday when he posted it, about marriage, and the statistics of what is the current view of marriage, how, at what age are people getting married, the ages of females, males, the age differences, and all of these things. And obviously the divorce rates, people are not getting married as much anymore. Is it just an economic situation, or it is a fundamental situation of people viewing it differently and whatnot? So that is a bit of a background for your benefit, Renee. So if you can, please request to join the panel, and let's have a conversation. To you, is marriage, attractive? If marriage is not attractive, if we are jolelani, give us what this thing is about for you. Good morning, Lady G. Much appreciated. Lady G was not there on Thursday. And Lady G, you're the one who requested for this topic. So thank you for joining in today. Here we are. So yeah, what you saying, Lee?
No, Karare, look, you remember you kept on skipping me last week because when I on time.
Now that the people are still yet to come, Leroy, please, sarala ke sa gago, say what you gotta say.
So, this kind of goes back to actually um like what I was saying before the show actually. Hore. Now these days, you know what, like okay. Like me, I'm scared to actually be in a relationship in JPL, ne? Sharp, like
Okay.
yeah, ne? Because of my experience with the past ones, you know, okay, like working mostly because motor changes anytime, you know? Yeah, so now I'm like, so now I'm just like going to the marriage now. I really don't see it happening because you know, and like me personally, Joy, like marriage is just letting the world know that you fucking raw now. You know? No, no, me.
Language, Leroy.
Oh,
Language. Language.
okay.
And one talk.
Those, God, okay. Oh, God. Oh, okay. No, no.
Continue.
Okay, sharp. Let me kind of rephrase that, right? Marriage for me, almost like legal mjolo, you know? Because now, like, what are we going to do different there that we can do now, you know? So now I feel like let's just master the whole things now and yeah, and then marriage is just like it's just for the people, man. You know, it's just for the Horoki shop, guys. We are the official wine feedy grand, you know. No offense, guys, because you know, and like as that like most of my as in like most of my people here they're married. So guys, I knew namuntu, guys, ne? Sorry, sorry. Ne? But I'm like, what I value more is the companionship, actually, no? More than the titles of like, you are my husband, you are my wife, we are married now, let the symbols of okay, bring it home, families and all that. Like, yeah, like that's what's like like much more important to me, okay. How are we and then how are we doing this together, you know?
Mm.
Like being good bargain kind of good companionship. You know what? I am bargain kind more like his opera actually. You know? Yeah, like she really doesn't believe in marriage because she's like, what's the point actually? You know? Because me, I love you, and then like you love me, we are okay like this. I feel. What's that? Speaking of marriage, guys, I'm engaged, Avan. Me, I thought you were married most like all this time. But I'm not gonna pressure.
Please, Precious, please come speak for yourself here once Leroy is done with his submission.
I thought she was
You
married,
are
bro.
breaking
Like
the
serious.
internet
Yeah.
continually.
Okay. No, but anyway, guys, no, like my apologies for my language. Actually, no. Sorry for
Sure.
like that. But marriage is not a thing for me. But what's that? Companionship is more important than the title. No offense, guys, to pressure Silelo na ba nyetseng, please. Nah? But then bona re tla rojana mela khomele bona mfana ke bona. Go tla da so ke yona. Ke apere di overall mfana. Ra go tlhaba kgomo go bo pressures.
The only time you're allowed to carry ukapi.
Exactly. Ngizobefike lapho ngithi exe. Anyway, yeah,
So are you done with your submission, sir?
I believe so. But then
O
I haven't
feditse
done
go roroga.
sorry, ga ke le
Me,
roga.
I'm offended, nah. I'm offended.
Sorry, kgosi ya ka. But then
Me,
like
I'm
it's a
offended.
beautiful thing though because beyond the marriage, you all are still actually like really cool together. So I'm like, okay, like that's more important actually, no? Than the ring, le lenyalo, le hey. Gore nje lona le utlwana bjang lona. It's much more important. But then sorry, Jose, my child.
Okay, Leroy. Let me challenge your perspective. For me, it sounds a bit more of an excuse
Okay.
to not want to, and I'll use for now the word commitment, right?
Mm.
That there is a level of assurance. Okay, that's fine. There is a level of assurance where when you have gone through the lobola situations, you've gone through the traditional element and all the respect that is afforded to both families, and we've gone through the legal aspect of it and everything else. There is a level of assurance that says to each partner, particularly the female in this particular instance, to say that I am committed to you, and I'm not just saying it by mouth. I am doing it by action, by taking a legal commitment, by standing before your parents, friends, and family umphakathi and say, I am taking you as my partner for life. This for me is a show of commitment, and it is not to say that people who don't show commitment, and that those who actually do the whole process I mentioned will not one day quit. However, just as it is settling when your partner calls you and say, I'm gonna be late tonight, so I get out at the time that I usually come through. That is settling and comforting. You don't have to worry where they are, what are they doing, because they are here. There's a level of comfort and calming, and me now saying, okay, beyond this guy having said that he loves me and he wants me to be his person for the rest of his life, he has gone beyond and committed himself in front of the government, in front of my family, and in all ways possible. So should he decide to back down now, it speaks to him and who he is, and the fact that he's not a person of his word, right? If he's able to just drop me in J&J, having made all these commitments, then this person definitely is not worth it. Yeah. And this is just saying, not negating problems that might exist that lead to people divorcing or whatever the case may be. However, on the onset, this is the peace of mind that it gives someone. Now I've done with the superficial element of it. Then we speak about, and this is now my view and my opinion, then we speak about the spiritual element of marriage, of now you committing yourself to a person, making yourself one with a person in spirit, in body and in everything. And this is far more than all these things that I've mentioned, a commitment in itself that has eternal repercussions. So the moment you say to me that, nah, this is this, it's just this, is for me, and the reason I was saying I was offended, Leroy, is that it is a diminishing view of this institution. And for me, it says either you have not understood the institution itself, you have to a certain extent, the information you have of it, for me, is not sound, because you would not have come to the conclusion of the things that you have mentioned, or given examples of the things that you have mentioned as to why you would not do it. However, you would say, even when there is these good things about marriage, for me, I will not enter it. I would fully understand you. One
Okay.
color high. But some of the things that you mentioned, it is just glorified mjolo, or not. You didn't say glorified. Sorry, forgot the word that you used. It is not. It's just an admission that you're just going raw, and all of these things. Um, you know, it's that thing of you've just for me you've just mentioned superficial things, and I know I'm speaking out of privilege, in a sense that I've been married, and I'm married, and understand that it goes deeper and further than that. And those things that you've mentioned for me just make it like it's a when it's quite a big deal. That's
Yes.
just my opinion. You can come through, Tulani. Please mute for a second, then you'll speak after Leroy. Yeah.
Okay, you know what, I kind of missed like the first few seconds there because I had a
Not a
call.
problem. Not a problem.
But then, guys, let's remember that
Mm-hmm.
we literally play the disclaimer like every day before we start, right? Okay, your opinion, is yours.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is mine, But then now,
Agreed.
that really doesn't mean that like my opinion now um says that what you are doing is not so great. Nah, not Karimabram. From like what I've seen now with like married people really sharp like this and that.
Mm.
I see like no difference actually. Now because now
Okay.
who's that? Oh, it's you.
Sorry about that. That was me. I forgot to mute the things. Yes, continue, please, Lee.
Oh, okay, sharp now. Not to look down more like your values actually, but I can kind of zero that actually. This is my view here. Okay, sharp. Beyond like marriage, lenyalo, the wedding and this and that, I value commitment, le barking kana, barking con something man. Do I loot one and sent kind compassion or king? Oh, yeah. Companionship actually. I value those two beyond what the world actually says, or no, actually now like you must do this, you must do that, you must do that. So the idea of like marriage, I feel horror. That's just was that was that was that validation fade actually. Then Shaba. This is my view actually. Me personally. Not horror, what you are doing is wrong. If it works for you, I feel the boy born ne sharp get. But then now beyond marriage what I see with you medium is real actually. Ne? Like we're bargaining kind of beyond the spiritual, beyond the ring, as in a beyond wedding. What I see, what I feel there, I'm like, okay, you know what, ne? And a sharp. They did well there. But for me, I don't see it necessary. You know?
I
And
hear
also
you.
not to demean.
No, I hear you. And you spoke about you value commitment and companionship, and how do you then prove this commitment? Because people have committed kamulungu over and over and still that has not seemed to hold water. So how do you then, beyond commitment, Yamalomu, how do you then continue to reassure this person that this is it?
What's the KG? There's a saying horror bro, like motho ka se mo confirm tsala. Whether you're married or not, bro. Joe, ne? You were talking about the stats, no, yeah, actually. There are really high divorce rates right now. From like people who have actually hasn't committed to taking but they'll do us part, yes. Mara born 4 months later, it's mara when so now that kind of shows me that eish, and like you know what, okay, sharp, you know what, ne? Like back to your question, actually. How do you trust that, right? You just have to believe, no? Like take a leap of faith, Maji, because you can say this right now and then I feel it. Oh yeah, look at what happened actually, as in like 2 months back, actually, since last year June. And I wrote like next thing, leaves fall, you know. So you really just have to trust, man, you know, and believe. But then chances are they can wake up one day and be on some ex and fun, as you know, and actually, you know, like me, I'm fine, dog. Nah, like happen, like that's beyond your control, actually. So now you constantly trying to prove. That's kind of gonna like take a lot away from you, actually. All one. So, like I always say, nah, if it's beyond your control, Chora. Hey guys, whoa, guys.
I heard you,
This
Lee.
is
It's all good.
my personal view.
Yes, and we are challenging it. No
All
problem.
right, sure.
Okay. Senzo, I'm assuming you wanted to run somewhere. Can you please come in? Apologies to Lani. Let's just let Senzo because sometimes he's on the road. So, yeah, come through.
Good morning, everyone.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you so much for the opportunity. I just want to do some quick admin work just to reiterate. Uh, we would like to keep this platform as safe as possible. Your views are respected, and we do respect your views. Let us all have that respect. I just want to quickly request, especially to the ladies today. Last week we had this conversation, and it was mostly men. Um, Ladies, please come through and share your views, whether you are married or not. This platform is not only for married people, so please do come through and give us your views respectfully. Thank you. Oh, yes, please note that any vulgar languages will be blocked completely on this platform. Um, and also, when you request and get on the panel, please mute your mic and wait for your turn to speak. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Senzo. Much appreciated. Tulani, come through, sir.
Sanbonani,
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Thank you, Senzo, for the ground rules. Well ahead, well ahead. I'll be brief once again. Leroy, I think you've spoken a mouthful. I concur with you 100%. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to add my views. My theory that becomes my opinion. I call it my theory because it's something that I've sat down and I've thought about it. I'm not married. I've never been married before. However, the stance that I've taken about marriages or marriage being attractive, I think it was supposed to be attractive until, as the society, we have turned this marriage life into an institution. I'm saying it's an institution because now it has too many elements other than us being in love, and then we're confirming this thing in front of our Lord the Savior, and we're seeking the approval of our parents and no. I think marriage was supposed to be umjolo after the wedding day. So we've messed it up by trying to formalize this thing so much that it's no longer flexible. It doesn't work for us as the couple in the marriage life. It's working for people who are spectators in our lives, our love life. Because we seek approval from the priest, from the neighbors, from the families, both maternal and paternal. We seek approval from the friends, from our colleagues. You come there. And then that's when everything get messed up. For an example, if my wife will complain that in Figekai after 7, we are both comfortable with that, Master John. Now that we are married, things have to change so that abantu bazothini syndrome will come and affect our marriage life. And then before I go, I am so disturbed now that marriage, for it to be an institution, now there are contracts, emotional contracts involved. One, and now there are contracts, your practical contracts that your prenups and everything. The question that I have to people who vouch for that, and then where does love come in then? Where do I say, because I love you, I am willing to do everything for you. I'm willing to sacrifice everything that I have for you. It's as if we're getting married to divorce, and we're so overprotective of our material things than our hearts and then our emotional attachments to each other. So I think for me, marriage was not supposed to be the way it is for it to be attractive. Currently, in its current form, for me, it's not attractive anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Abutu Tulani. I hope you will be able to stay in this live long enough for me to respond to you. But for now, I'd like to give everyone an opportunity. One, come through.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. It's a very good question. It's a beautiful question, and I love how it phrased. Is marriage still attractive? Which implies that at some point it was attractive. Is it still attractive today? And my answer to that, it's no longer attractive, and by all metrics, it's no longer attractive. But to make you understand why it's no longer attractive, we need to look back at the time when it was still attractive. So, pair bonds are as old as human history itself. So, people will decide that, you know what, you and I are going to live together and we are going to build a family. Those were pair bonds until 2000 BC or so, with the rise of agriculture. So marriage was introduced as a way to secure rights to land. So they said, okay, if you want to own land, you must have a wife. You must have someone that you're going to commit to. That's why we go in public and we say, until death do us apart. They say, you must have someone that you're going to commit to forever and ever. And very important. Remember at that time when this technology of marriage was introduced, or it was first introduced, the life expectancy was 28. If you were old in the society, you were about 35. So what happened is, as societies became larger and more complex, marriage became an institution governed by spiritual leaders, governed by religious leaders, and civil authority. So ile kwaqala khona-ke they came up with these laws. Batsini, I know the oldest one was, if you sleep with someone's wife, you're gonna be they're gonna kill you. You cannot divorce a wife unless it's for a reason of infidelity, I think. So a man could not divorce a wife, and there was all these laws. So, but the main goal has always been, you should get married so that you can own land. That has always been the reason why people got married. And then from there onwards, marriage became a legal status. It was a legal status that's okay. Do you want land? Yes, but are you married? Okay, sharp. And so people got married for various reasons. There were benefits at that time. Marriage was still attractive. You could own land. It was for day-to-day survival. It was for social acceptance. That's why in some traditions they came up with this cultural practice of saying, as soon as you are 16, we are going to choose a wife for you because you need to get married. Otherwise, if the parents die, they cannot give pass their land or their inheritance to you because you are not married. So as soon as possible, you should get married. I think it's Indians who mostly practice that tradition of arranged married, and I think also in our culture, in the Zulu culture, at some point we did have it for a very short period of time. Unfortunately, our history is not well documented, but some historians rather, they do say we see no, we had those sorts of arranged married thingy. Okay, let's fast forward 10,000 later today. That's when the problem started with the rise of industrialization and increased in income, which meant that now, in order for with the rise of industrialization, human rights, people started making more money, which meant now, in order for me to get married, in order for me to own land, I just need to have money. I don't need a wife as what's the word as a, something that made me
Bargaining
qualified to.
power.
Yes, exactly, as a bargaining power. So I don't need a wife anymore as a bargaining power. As long as I have the money, I can get married. So now, instead of people getting married for day-to-day survival and social acceptance, people started getting married, making marriage as a form of personal fulfillment. Okay, I actually have a friend whom I went to varsity with. He graduated, bought a house, bought a car, and then he said, "You know what? I have all these things now. I have to get a wife." And as we speak, he's married. So people started getting married for personal fulfillment, of which it means that if you do not, if I do not feel fulfilled by you or satisfied by you, I can then get a divorce. So from this perspective, it makes sense why we have so many divorces today. I was looking at the stats, but this was in I think 2022, released by Stats SA, which I think it was on Mail and Guardian, which said that about 55% of marriage end with a divorce. 55% of marriage end with a divorce. And how many stay together for the sake of the kids? How many stay together for a reputation, etc. How many, let me ask you, how many do you think stay together for the sake of reputation or the sake of the kids? We already know it's a fact from stats that say that 55% end with a divorce. How many do you think stay together for the sake of family? Let's be generous and say 15%. Let's be generous and say 15%, though I'm sure the actual number is way higher than that. So now we have 50% divorce, 15% stay together for the sake of reputation. So we are sitting with this ship that sinks 70% of the time. So 70% of the time in 10 trips, if you take 10 trips with the ship, 7 times out of 10, it will sink. That's more likely than not. It's more likely to sink than not. But people still continue to get married for whatever reason. And even worse, there's a presumption that you should get married or else there's something wrong with you. You know, if uyicabanga like le nto lena, it can qualify as getting married can qualify as reckless behavior, in my opinion. I think it can qualify as reckless behavior. Why? How do you define reckless behavior?
One, I'm gonna just interrupt you for a sec. I'll ask you to land so that we give more people opportunity to speak. But I appreciate the background that you came with. So just for the next few seconds, please lend your opinion so that we can give more people. Continue, sir.
Okay. So yeah. Where was I? Yeah. So I think marriage does qualify as it's a dangerous activity. It's like owning a pit bull. It's guaranteed. It's more likely than not that someone will get hurt. So in closing, I'd like to say that love and marriage have very little to do with each other. I think that we were I, I I think that's where we lost track. That we thought that okay, I love this person, so to prove my love to them, I need to marry them. I respect and understand the cultural reason why people choose to get married, but in my opinion, marriage is no longer a useful technology. There's just way too much risk, and the reward is not as high. I'm gonna
All
stop there.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Juan. Much appreciated for that background and stats and supporting that. Much appreciated. Popo, come through, Mama.
Morning.
Hello, hi.
How are you, Mr.
Mm,
KG? Hi,
very well,
everyone.
very well. Lady with the honey voice.
You know, this topic, ne, very interesting. It is so interesting. And, I'm so surprised hore the ladies aren't on the panel. Like, it is very telling. It is very telling. The ladies are on the comments. And congratulations, Precious, on your engagement. We love it for you because we know just how much you've been wanting this. Like, you've been wanting this. So it's so amazing to see in real time. Now, for my submission, I
Yes,
need all the
please.
feminists to not come for me because this is my opinion and mine alone. I guess I hope it does not offend anybody. So yeah.
You are protected, ma'am. Continue.
Nobody's gonna touch you. Let them Musari work. Nobody. Ash.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Um I don't care how learned I get. I don't care how many official and unofficial degrees I hold to my name, that is Sekgothudi.
Mm.
But marriage will always, and I mean it with all my heart, will always be attractive to me. I have not to say no other aspirations, but like there is no other greater aspiration of mine than to be a wife, a mom, and a homemaker. Like that is to me the greatest success story that I could have for myself. I want to be a wife. I want to serve my husband. And to hear that, people think that marriage and Njolo are the same. No, marriage is an enhancement of Njolo. There are certain principles that are different when weighing the two. And I'm not going to go into that, but like marriage on its own is a thing for me. I would like that. I would love that. I would like to be a mom. I would like to be a homemaker. So there's no amount of stats mo lefatsheng. There's no amount of drama ko Twitter, drama mo TikTok e tlo irang gore ke nagane gore no, marriage is not for me, marriage is scary. ke batla ba re there's 1% chance ya gore it will be successful. I'm gonna take that chance because my story and another person's story are not the same, and I will be willing to make my marriage work regardless of the states, regardless of hey, marriage this, marriage that. No. So yes, I want to be a trad wife. So yeah, so be it. Marriage will always be attractive to me.
Thank you so much. Popo, just maybe 2-3 points there. Why is it attractive to you?
It is a foundation. I feel like, you see, we with Mjolene and kids and people having kids and saying no, we're co-parenting. As someone who has parents that are unmarried, I can say that the effects of that have altered my way of thinking, right? Because it's not exactly nice to have two houses, as much as it could be fun in some ways, but it's not ideal to have uh, um, a two household. This month okamo, next month okamola, like hobana a disconnect. And I don't want that for myself. I want my kids to be born and bred in a family home that is ailing one, and we grow from that. Like, it's so beautiful to see when you are with a partner and you're holding down the fort and everything is just beautiful. Mathata atla, trials and tribulations, whatever comes through, you guys are just holding it together. Lily too, in the same house. So if you are in different spaces, it becomes difficult because you don't have the same vision, you don't have the same thoughts for how you want things to be done. So yeah, that's why.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Popo, for such enlightening thoughts and submission. Much appreciated. And I see there's a lot of comments there, but we'll not get into it. Anyone wants to get into the panel? And before I respond to some of the submissions that have been made by one, and who was the other person who was there when Ali who left?
Okay, Bratulani.
And Bratulan. I hope he's still around. But nonetheless, yes, please request in a few. Just to speak to some of these things or points that I mentioned or that were mentioned that I picked up. The issues of contracts and legalities in marriages and all of that. And to much to what the history that one has given us, it shows, if not, yeah, it shows that with different, I don't want to say civilizations, but with as the years are going, with different eras, there would be changes that comes just as a result of evolution, things getting better, we learning better, doing things better, coming up with systems to make life better, right? We obviously, the law keeps on updating, things keep on happening and all of that. And in an attempt to improve, preserve, and all of that, there's a lot of things that come in. So at different eras of time, there will be different views of what marriage is. There will be different applications of it. There will be different versions as we continue with it. And I think it's just human beings, evolution, we move, right? So we then have landed to where we are right now. We have contracts, and when you speak about contracts, and I think it goes to the issue of land that one has spoken about, that when we're now speaking of ownership and things like that, there needs to be contracts involved, yeah? So this is how then it evolved and mushroomed to what it is right now. And we all of these contracts are there to protect both parties. Yeah. And that is just the nature of a contract in itself. So when we are protecting people, it is based on past experience. That, okay, there have been people who get married today, 2 months later, they want a divorce. How do we work around that? What was the basis of that? Was it ill intent? Did people just want to get into community of property, then divorce and get, things and whatever the case may be? So then you have all of these things and contracts and the amendments thereof in terms of trying to protect against people who have ill intentions and those who genuinely want to do this thing. And I'll make an example for me and my marriage. And we have looked at obviously the regimes that exist within South Africa in terms of marriage. If I'm not mistaken, there's four. And we understood that we getting married, our goal is to stay married. That's number one. So in anything, and I've said, as marriage could be a vehicle to achieve certain goals in your life, whatever goals that there are, whether they're religious views or whatever, cultural and everything else. However, you need to then understand the correct vehicle then to use in the context of the country that you're in and the laws that you're in. So because we know that we are doing this thing for life, how, if we're going to enter into a contract, which contract should we enter that will serve our interests, that will ensure that our goals and desires, as we have stated between each other, will be fulfilled in the most efficient and beautiful way possible? Yeah. So we looked at all of that and we said, okay, cool. Because we want to do this thing for life, divorce is not an option. So we are getting into this thing not worried about divorce. So now, which contract is best for us to move forward in terms of this? Which type? Because there are certain contracts that are limiting in what you can do within those contracts. So for us, we're like, okay, cool. Out of community of property makes sense because we want to run businesses, we want to set up our household in a way that we can protect everything for the children. We want to be able to build whatever legacy and everything else. Looking at our desires and what our plan for our life is, this contract is the best, right? So we say, okay, cool. Let's do Victor, if you don't mind, kindly mute, so that you will speak when your opportunity comes. So then we have this contract set up in this manner, and we say, okay, cool. So it is out of community of property because it allows us to be two separate entities instead of one, legally, right? So what that then allows us is the protection of assets. I am risky by nature. It is only best that the things of the family be under my wife as an entity. And I pursue businesses and everything else. And should there be bankruptcy and whatever the case may be, there's some form of workaround in terms of those things because I'm an entity by myself. Now, how do we then ensure that there is fairness in a situation where there is death of my wife, because we are all guaranteed death? How will we ensure that the assets are distributed properly, they are handled well according to our wishes? Then we say it is out of community of property, but with accrual. Now, at the time when I married my wife, I had a couple of years of work. I had accumulated assets. She had not yet accumulated any assets. So for me, I was like, I'm not interested in the issue of assets and how, in terms of, if you're doing out of community of property, then what is mine and all of that. No, we're in this thing together. So my accrual became zero, which what it meant is what is mine then becomes part of this marriage in terms of accrual. Yeah. So now we are able to say we are still, in essence, in communal property, but we are still separate entities. So we are able to set up things legally in such a way that we protect the assets of the family, we protect this, and should there be death and everything, well, as there will be death, then things can easily be separated accordingly, and whatever the case may be. So we looked at these contracts and what will then work for our desires, our plan, what we have already discussed, and how we want to carry this marriage forward. So for me, contracts are not a problem. You view them in the best interest of your relationship, of your marriage. You use them to your advantage, to your desires and how you plan your life. That is just how I would say, don't look at contracts as, or it is from a fear perspective. No, the two of you need to communicate. What is our intention? What are we doing? What are we building? How then can we make sure that what we want to build will be protected, will actually happen the way we want to? So you need to be informed about all of these things. Then we continue forward. And without taking more time, I was just touching on that, and I'll touch on the other element when there's an opportunity. Victor, come through, sir. Oh, ma'am. Victor?
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, sir. Are you?
I'm all right, man.
Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Uh, we're talking about a very important subject in life, in each and every one of us, of our lives. And for you to be an adult, there needs to be a grooming space for you so that you can be a useful member of society. And we have proven that marriage is that environment. If clinical psychologists have proven that children that grow up in single parent households, they don't turn up well. They don't contribute well in society. The jails are full of them. 80% of jails are full of them. So we can establish from there that marriage is necessary. But is it beneficial today for both genders to be married today? It is beneficial for the woman because they have found that they can gain materially by leaving the marriage. It is not beneficial for the man because when you marry, you know the stats are saying that 50% of the time, there's half a chance that you will not stay in that, or that marriage will not survive for a lifetime, as you say, till death do you part. The stats are saying that. And when that happens, you're going to lose half your assets. You're going to most probably have to pay alimony to your wife, and you will not be given custody of your children. 90% of the time, we know that is the trajectory that is going to happen. Now, when you are a man and you think, oh, I want to get married to this woman, and you look at those facts, then suddenly marriage becomes unattractive to you. Because let's take a scenario where you go into a plane and you go into a parachute down, and they tell you that there's 50% chance that the parachute will not open. You're not going to go there. You're not going to get there because your chances of your brain splattering on the ground are 50-50. So we go into marriage knowing that if things don't go right and death does not do us part, but divorce does do us part, I'm going to leave I'm going to lose half of my asset, and I'm going to have to support this person for the rest of her life, even though she's no longer in my life. So the law has made it unattractive for the men to marry. That is why today men don't marry as they used to before, because it is an unattractive proposal today. It is not attractive. Whether it's useful or not, I have already explained. It is very useful. It is the only environment where you can raise your children. It is the only environment where you can be able to build assets and wealth and an inheritance for your children. It is the only environment. But due to the fact that the numbers are telling you that half the time you're going to get divorced, there's 50% chance that you're going to get divorced, and your aspiration of building wealth for your children, your aspiration of having your children grow up to adulthood in a stable two-parent household, they are going to go up in smoke. Then it becomes an unattractive proposal. So what must then happen? What must then happen? I think the lawmakers need to look at society, how it behaves around certain aspects and issues such as marriage, and say, how do we balance? How do we create a balance so that one does not see the benefit to leaving an institution such as marriage? Because now the government incentivizes women for leaving. How do they remove that incentive? That incentive has to be removed so that people can start seeing the benefit of remaining in marriage. Because I have seen in most instances that women leave their husbands for almost nothing. For almost nothing. And most of them like to say abuse, because once we say abuse, we stand to drift to the side of the abuser without wanting to know whether it is true or not. Without wanting to know. So abuse becomes a very valid excuse that is accepted very quickly without question. And therefore we justify a divorce based on that. But you might find that maybe it's another subject for another day. Emotional abuse versus physical abuse. Men are physical. Women tend to abuse men more emotionally than anything. But we also know that the tongue is the wounds that are caused by the tongue, they go straight to their heart, and they are longer lasting than the wound infected maybe on the body. The scratch will go away. But the emotional abuse, it remains with you for a lifetime. That is coming from the tongue. That's where the women are most powerful at talking, and innuendo and reputation destruction and all of that. That is the most critical
Victor?
and the most. Yes, sir.
Sorry, let me just interrupt you there for a sec.
Okay.
With the issue of emotional and whatnot, I mean, physical also can create emotional and long-lasting things. So I just wanted us not to deviate much. Let's come back
Okay.
to the conversation, and then we'll talk about these another day, as you've said. But yeah, there's
Yeah,
two
but
different sides that you can look at that. Continue, yes?
yeah, I think I've made my point, which is to say it is not beneficial to the men due to the laws that are in place, but it incentivizes women for leaving their marriages. We need to talk about that.
Question, Victor. Do you think what you've just submitted in terms of beneficial to the women, all of that, has much to do with the fact that women don't traditionally or historically did not have much of a say into getting married? Because historically we can look at the situation where for a woman to buy land, to buy a car and whatnot, she needs to do it via her husband and all of those things and whatever. So historically, women have been victims of some of the ills that would happen in the marital
Patriarchy.
context. Exactly, right? So it would be more leaning to protect them as victims most of the time, and because also we are the ones who propose marriage to them. They can't go and marry, so to put it. So it becomes now these elements where, is it possible? Do you think it is possible that is the case? That therefore the law will need to protect more of them? Yes, in doing so, it might open loopholes of people to take advantage. But what's your opinion there?
KG, in the past, we were living under a patriarchal society.
Sure.
We don't live under that society anymore. There are no rights that I have
Argumentative.
that there are no rights
Argumentative.
yeah, no, there are no rights that I have that a woman does not have in South Africa, even in let's say in the Western world.
Okay.
If you can ask any woman which right do I have that she doesn't also enjoy, there isn't. So women can work in any field, any sphere, any environment, anywhere, wherever they choose. They can study any field of discipline that they choose. So according to the law, we are equal now. We are equal in all aspects. The only thing that you cannot change, which is like that, it's body mass and muscle mass. That's all. In as far as being able to think and do work in a corporate space or anywhere else, we are well able. So in the past, under the patriarchal rule of law, our parents and our forefathers determined that this is the correct way to go about life. They would dictate that a woman should get married by such an age. They would determine that a man must get, by such an age, he needs to go to the mountain and do this. There was a certain structure in terms of our life, where from this point it goes to that point, from that point it goes to that point. And during that time, society protected women. The elders protected women. And men were not just freelancing or allowed to mistreat their wives, to abuse their children and all that, because now at that time the whole society was involved. Your parents, the woman's parents, the aunts, everything, the elders of the family, a man would be called and be disciplined by the men of the community at that time. Today, there is no, you live in a complex, no one is going to tell you anything there. Everybody is an individual today. But during that time, the men and the society would call you in and discipline you when you are not ill-treating your family, from wife to children. So today, my brother, the law, everything is equal. Everything has been equalized. So why should having things being equal as they are, why should a divorce be more beneficial to the one party than to the other party? There is no reasonable explanation for that, in my opinion.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Abud Victor. Without now being a back and forth, there are a few points to be challenged there. And I think the comments are also stating there that, law and implementation, two different things. And also, are we really that equal? Because simple thing, we've had a conversation about this the other day, should women propose to men and shella men? And there was all sorts of response that were quite negative, particularly from us men. And then there's no necessarily equality there. And when we talk about equality, also is a different conversation. So let's not take it that far, but I really appreciate your submissions. Anyone on the panel? Okay, Leroy has raised his hand. And if you would like to comment while you're on the panel, just raise your hand and we'll note you. Continue, Leroy.
I really don't want to comment there actually, because hey man,
Okay.
but okay, can you see this patriarchy thing? Hey, man versus woman. Hey, I'm like, guys, no man, come on man. We were not there, guys, chill, you know? But anyway, but in Kavana, so now remember I have another question, Yana, actually, as in like right after what would.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm not sure. Should I do it now because I see Bonkos is here? Or yeah.
Is it shoplifting or is it still on topic?
Nah, within the same second.
Okay. Let's give. Okay, ask your question. Let people marinate while Bongi gives his submission, and then yeah, then
Okay.
we'll answer it.
So, working guys, you know what? Nah, sharp. Nah. What is the purpose of marriage? Actually, like let's take away the rings, wedding, the spiritual side of it. You know what? In a sense of nah, sharp. Let's say like we've been dating for like let's say what's that 10 years, right? We love each other as in like deep fading. So now what is so special like about the title now that like that's gonna change like the lives like what's that after the wedding now okay yeah sharp we signed for the spiritually we are connected for the so like why is it such a thing because like going back to actually like what I said Jorge, what I see that's more important get the companionship like little commitment actually to you to me so now like my question to Jorge, well like why should we have like this concept of like marriage now because like ra anyway like as in like nothing's going to be different tomorrow. You still there for me? Me, I'm still there for you. But anyway, yeah, sharp.
All right.
You can continue.
Okay. So, why is what is the importance of marriage? You say, right?
Yeah, you can say it like that. But then, like from that view, actually, okay, sharp.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are already doing this thing. Why then do we need to go that whole thing of marriage and contracts and whatnot? Okay, noted. Bonginkosi, come through, sir.
Hi, guys. How are you?
How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
Thank you for joining us. Please make your
Uh,
submission.
I was actually listening to Abu Victor, and I just want to touch on the understanding of the Divorce Act of 1979. Right?
Okay.
It
Bonginkosi, just before you continue, I know you would like to, put it fully, but we are closing at 12:30. So if you can shrink it for us and hit the points now, please continue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's
Yes,
speaking
please.
about how the Divorce Act is detrimental to men, right? But when you read on the provisions of the Act, it doesn't specifically state the gender. They refer to the alimony as a spousal maintenance, a spousal. So it can be to any party in a relationship. It doesn't specifically target men to pay spousal maintenance. They say spousal, which applies to both men and women. It's not only for men to pay. No. And if you look at the sections in this act, it's not as easy as people think it is. You can't just go and claim and just go to court and claim. There are a lot of factors that needs to be considered. There are a lot of factors that the court does consider. And he speaks about patriarchy and how people have moved and how we are now equal. I don't think he's been to the rural areas as of now to see if the patriarchy has actually been removed or anything like that. It still lives. Now the question is, are we equal as people think we are? Yes, there are rights. Yes, there are laws that support women, but is there implementation? Do we see the laws being implemented? Do we see the rights being implemented? How is the implementation? I still think we are not as equal as people think we are. So yeah, that was my 2 cents.
Much appreciated for those 2 rands. Thank you so much, Bongigosi. You can kindly mute and a laughing face. I don't know. Please confirm.
Hey guys, how's everyone?
Very well in yourself.
Chilled, can't complain, can't complain. I just had a
Thank you
meal
so
now, so
much.
yeah. My take on the topic, nah, marriage.
Mhm.
It's extremely attractive. It's
Okay.
it's everything. It's everything. Every time when I break down marriage, nah, I'll always say that marriage isn't for everyone. But when I say not for everyone, I'm not saying forever, ever, but within life's movements, né? The ups and downs, the trials and the tribulations. Um, there are periods where a person actually qualifies for marriage, and then a person doesn't qualify for marriage. You have to go through certain things within life in order to say, you know what, I understand what marriage is, and I now need it. So we can't place everyone within that umbrella if we accept things like when you go to work, it's the first time you've just graduated, it's your first time working, and you're going to get a low salary and then you're going to work your way up, right? Even with marriage, people should see it like that. So again, I'm going to acquire the tools and skills needed in regards to me maintaining a marriage or me getting into a marriage. So this comes into play because with the submissions, it opens up a situation whereby you understand everybody's take and you respect everybody's take, because we are at different points within life, because we don't live the same, we don't do the same things, so we can't have the same outcome or the same beliefs in regards to marriage. But for me, marriage is everything based off what I've seen. My parents have been married for over 50 years. They're still married to date. I've seen the ups and downs. I'm within areas where I can say, okay, within life, I've seen the steps of life where a person says, you know what, I get married, I have kids, my kids go to varsity, they get married, and there's still things to teach as a parent. As much as your kids are 40, 50 and they're married, your kids have to go through a situation where they have to understand bequeathing of assets, wills, and all sorts of stuff. That's the last step for between a parent and a child. You still have to teach your children how to actually maintain a marriage and all sorts of stuff. So marriage for me, it's everything. Why do we need to formalize the whole thing? Subtle reminders are key. Subtle reminders are key within a situation. I'm not saying that you will cheat. I'm not saying that I don't trust you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, you know what, when given a chance, just peruse through the paperwork. That's me and you there, and we're doing this. You my person, I'm your person, and this is what we're doing. And another thing that I've noticed within life, né, the younger we are and we pursue the mundane accoutrements of life, like things that you need within life, né, like money, cars, all sorts of stuff, né. As soon as you start noticing older people within your gated communities or whatever, wherever, right? And they enter a situation where they'll tell you, okay, we've made money. We have money. Our kids are married. They have money. We're now successful. They actually conquer life with their partner. Because now it's a stalemate. You're no longer the guy who wakes up and says, I have to go hustle for money. You have money. You're no longer the guy who says, you know what, I have to go hustle assets. You have assets. You're no longer the guy who says, you know what, I need kids. You have kids. So what's the next way, and how can you move within life, and how can you enjoy life? You have to enjoy life with your partner. That's where it's somewhat of a huge benefit when you start seeing these partnerships where they'll say, we're starting up the Land Cruiser, we took some of our pension money, we have a Land Cruiser, we're going to Namibia, we're going wherever, because we do come across these old couples in random areas, and we'll say, you know what, how long have you guys been traveling? And they'll tell you, I've been doing this for 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years. For now, a person will say, I don't need a partner because this partner, this partner does this. But when it's all said and done, and you're like, guys, I'm now 65, I'm retiring, Kenga package, and I did it right. my package is huge, I'm guapped up, my kids are successful, and what? You need a partner. A partner is so vital at that particular moment. You have no understanding, because it's sad when you see older like grannies or grandfathers and osetali one, and then what, you know what, everything is here, I have everything, but I don't see the need to live because I've done everything. But with a partner, you can conquer life and whatnot. A partner is needed, guys. If you have to formalize the whole thing, sometimes you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your partner. That's why how graduate about gas certificate, they give you pictures and what. Subtle reminders are key, because it's not, we're not here to say you were lying, you're doing what. It's just one of those, when you look at the paper, you're like, you know what, I went through this, you know what, and just go through the ups and downs. It's not for everyone, but everyone will get there. That's why I understand within the conversation. I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna knock down a person who says I do not see the value of marriage. I understand. There will be a point where you'll come back and say, you know what, I remember you said this, and now I do see the value of marriage, and let's get into a conversation, and then we'll get into a conversation type thing, you know. But for me, it's everything. It's the ultimate goal. It's me being successful within life, making money, knowing how to manage people, relationships, and knowing how to handle high pressure moments. Then my person marang pega, they'll say, you know what, baby, you make things happen. Niting impela, atia, no, you make things happen, and I love that about you. The child was sick, so you felt pressure from work, the house, and the kid itself in regards to money, paying for medication and what. But I know how to handle pressure, how to keep her solid, how to notice her fall apart, and how to actually fix the whole thing. That's my ups and downs from being a manager, a director, and all sorts of stuff. Those skills I'm now implementing within my household. So marriage is everything, and it's somewhat of a test that I look forward to, and I'm like, you know what, I will come out on top. And it's, yeah, I have to get like the best possible results I can out of a marriage, you know.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. Emojis. We appreciate that for that
Oh,
comment. Sharp, sharp. So I think we have about 29 minutes now. I want to anyone who would like to come onto the panel, do send an invite before we finish off. And there's something that Sage mentioned earlier on, but I don't remember word for word. But it made me think about, sometimes as human beings, we also need to take responsibility for the choices we make, particularly the partner that you end up getting married to. And I think it's not everyone who has the bravery to admit to such, to say, "Kuti yazin, I did a swag job in choosing a partner. I did a swag job in, vetting, having crucial communication, conversations rather, talking and all of that. It's very important that we know that sometimes marriage fails because you chose the wrong partner. You did not have the right conversations. You did not, we've spoken about people getting married for the wrong reasons and things like that. So what is your worldview for someone who, for example, sees purely marriage as a asset accumulation tool? I don't know how far the marriage will go if you have a partner who does not only see it as a asset management tool or asset acquiring tool. So we need, and these things can only be ironed out at the dating stage. Can we have as much tough conversations as possible to make sure that as we are doing this, we have the same vision, we have the same goals. And like I said earlier on, Senzo said, Hore, would it be beneficial perhaps if marriage contracts get reviewed every 5 years or whatever the case may be. And I said I wouldn't be opposed to that because time changes and certain things happen in terms of the economy and the law and where we live, and it might be to the best interest, guaranteed that both partners are in agreement with the thing, then we can make all of these. But it is very important that with the information that you have now, both of you, do you think this is the best decision to go with, you know? And there's a whole lot that goes in. Where you're getting married just for kids, where you're getting married for companionship, where you're getting married to say, I'm in it and for it, regardless of whatever it is. So these conversations can only be clarified if they're had, or these issues rather can only be clarified when we have these conversations. So some of the, because I always say to be careful of statistics is that you can drive a particular point of view based on stats, but that may not be the only view, you know, and stats do not also reveal reasons. There's this popular stats that get thrown around to say women are the ones, most people who are filing for divorce and all of that. And I will say, what is the reason for them to ask for the divorce? You know, they could be the ones asking, but are you the problem? You know, what is the issue? So it's one of those things that we need to have these conversations. And I feel that from different perspectives that have been said, it is particularly important that we have a good context of what marriage is in different areas, because there's the cultural aspect, there's the legal aspect, there's the religious aspect, and then there's you too, you know. So we need to have these conversations and be able to say, are we in agreement? You know, both of us, are we in agreement that from a cultural perspective it makes sense? We are understanding, we are aligning. We may not agree with certain things that were done in the past, but for us this is how we're going to move forward, you know, and all of that. Will we get the support we need? When we look into the religious aspect and the spiritual aspect, are we aligned? You know, are we believing in the same things? Do we have the same values? If they are differing, are they deal breakers and things like that? You know, are we solid there? Legally, which regime are we taking? In South Africa, or are we not going to get married in South Africa? You're going to get married in another country that is favorable for our the way we want to do things. Senzo was saying, and he believes in the Swiss system. Maybe then, you know, let's go get married in Switzerland, you know, acquire citizenship of Switzerland and live our best lives in that regard. So there are these things. Can we understand that the values that we sit on, that this marriage can cover? Because we are the ones who are coming with baggage into the institution. So can we make sure that our baggage will fit in and how we want to do this thing? And will it make us reach the goals that we want to reach? So I will give anyone starting from the bottom. I'll skip Leroy, go to one Mpo Victor, and then Bongani, Bonginkosi, sorry. If maybe they wanted to respond to some comment that was made before, or an opinion, or whatever the case, and then we can perhaps be able to wrap it up. One?
Thank you again. Which, you know, Emoji said a lot of interesting things, but you know, my worry is, um, it sounds like what most people say before they get married. I want to get married because I want to build a family, and then we're gonna put our incomes together, whatever. That's very nice. It's beautiful, and anyone who says they do not want that, I think it's either they are stupid or they are lying. It's very attractive when you look at it from that angle, but we can never run away from the fact that this technology simply does not work. It does not work. It has been proven to fail, and it's still proving us even today, um, in a lot of ways. ulontuzana Victor, Victor spoke about divorce and how divorce usually benefits women rather than instead of what did he say? Divorce benefits, or usually
It
it's
benefits
women who
men
benefits
more.
from. No, it benefits women more.
Sorry, women. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, and he said that's the reason why people choose to get married, and I respectfully disagree with that. I don't think people choose to get married because of the consequences that, sorry, people choose not to get married because of the consequences that comes with divorce, but rather the impact of divorce itself. And there's this thing that people usually say, which is disingenuous, that children who are raised by parents who are married are more likely to be successful, living in a healthy household, etc., etc., etc. And whenever people make that statement, they simply ignore the children who have to suffer lifelong traumas because of divorce. They simply ignore the fact that divorce reduces your life expectancy. By the way, it's one of the indicators, it's one of the predictors of how long you're going to live. People who have been divorced have been shown to have a significantly lower life expectancy compared to people who never got married. And lastly, I think maybe one day we should have a topic of are black, or in fact South African men and women unequal, because that's not fair. There's never been a point in our history where black women were oppressed by black men. There's never been that time, at least in our history that we are familiar with. There's never been that point when we were oppressed. At some point, we were all oppressed, and when we got freedom or liberation, we were all liberated at exactly the same time, and we saw a rise of successful black women at the same time as the rise of successful black men. So I think it's really unfair to say that men and women are unequal, especially in our South African context. Maybe in other Western countries that might be the case, but unfortunately it's not in ours. I think maybe you should look if you can find a time for us to discuss the topic maybe in future. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Juan. I personally, you can mute so long. I personally uh, avoid conversations that will create gender wars because they never end well, in as much as I believe the conversations need to be had. But history has told us that it never ends well. But sometimes it's good that it doesn't end well, so that we are able to deal with our indifferences and all of that, and things be known. But yeah, I think the point of oppression of women and all that can be argued, and it can definitely be a conversation another day. I'm not sure when, but yeah, maybe we can do that. Personally, I would also disagree with your opinion to raise a certain factors there and there, and not forgetting that we are most of our point of view is based on our experiences and how we experience the world. And someone, I made a joke about this, that someone in some university was saying, "Hore, white people don't go to university yet they get the best jobs, because in their university they have not seen a white person." And they're not wrong. That's the frame that they have. But however, in other universities that could be debunked. So that's just that. Popo, come through, Mama.
I'm coming through to add on to what people said or to answer the question that was asked before Bonking Kosi went through.
Oh, Gunji, that was Leroy's question. My God. My God.
Don't tag,
Do
it's
as you
fine.
do as you please, Popo. Please decide which one is important for you.
Don't tag, it's fine.
I'm gonna make my last submission,
Please.
and that is to say, the question was, what is the purpose of marriage? It is simple. It's there in Mark 10, verse 8. It says, and the two shall become one. In Mjolo, I feel like that is the time for us to get to know each other, to court each other, and to, find out if we align and see the future the same, right? And then once we've established that, yes, we are compatible, then we take things to the next level. Yes, Serge, I'm referring to the Bible because this is my opinion, not yours. So we elevate and take the next step, which is marriage, and we shall become one. This means we are one and the same person. Our thoughts are the same, not 100% the same, but mostly the same. You understand? There's no way I'm dating someone for 10 years without a ring on my finger. Let's start there. So, yeah, if we figure out that in the months that we're dating, the future is not aligning, there's no way we can continue, right? So, yes, that is why marriage is important. And dating is important too. It's the selection period, bro. It's the selection period. You're here, you're ticking boxes. This is where we match. This is where we're not matching. This is how we see things. This is how you understand. And marriage is where you implement the things that you spoke about during dating.
Thank you so much, Papa. Much, much, much appreciated. Your opinion. And Victor.
Can I ask Popo a question?
Okay. Okay.
Popo, what's the ideal time that you would say is reasonable for people to court before they can decide to get married or call it quits because they've just overstayed their Mjolo life?
That will depend on the. There's an echo.
Okay. About Victor, please mute when she's responding because I think it's echoing from your point or your side now.
All right. So there's no time limit, but I feel like there is in a sense because we can't be dating for 10 years. During that time, we're both working our butts off. So I believe that we are preparing financially and we getting our stuff together. So we can't be dating for 8 years, for 8 to 10 years. No.
Bro, Victor, you can come back.
Yeah, I'm back. Leroy, I wanted to respond to your question, my brother. And I
Alright,
also wanted to
alright.
to respond to other people what they've said before. Guys, we have people who go to school to study human behavior. I think the purpose of those people is to draw conclusions to tell you what to do and what not to do. Or if you do this, this will likely happen. Or if you don't do this, this will unlikely happen to you. Those studies are done for a reason. Whether you choose to believe it or you don't choose to believe it, but there are people who have put an effort to it. They've went to school and gotten degrees for it, and they've conducted studies all over the world. We've got statisticians, we've got all those people. There's all of them study human behavior to try and give us a guidance as to if you do this, then what is likely or unlikely to happen if you do that. Now, Leroy, what is the purpose for marriage, my brother? there is no other incubation to raise children that has proven to be better than the institution of marriage. I've said it earlier. There is no other institution. And according to these people I'm talking about who study human behavior, they are saying that your child is much better off, or is more likely to be a useful member of society if he was raised by you and her or his mother. That's what they say. And then they say 80% of the population in jail, especially violent crime, rape, and all of that, they find that these are children that come from single parent households. Those are things that they have studied. And it's people that went to universities and all that to study those things. But now, Leroy, it's your choice to say they're talking nonsense or not. I'm going to start my own path and do my own thing and see what the future holds. But what I'm saying is that even myself, as an example, um, I'm married for 18 years. I've got an 18-year-old daughter, usasiphethe kahle. I've got a 21-year-old daughter. She's doing third year university, usasiphethe kahle. I don't want to say they are still virgins because some people can attack me and say, how do I know? But basasiphethe kahle those children. And I believe, Leroy, I believe, it is my opinion that those kids are behaving in that way because the father is there in the home. I would I think the chances that they would have still remained Baspete the way Baspete ngakhona, if I was not there, they were going to be much lesser, because the presence of the father is the presence of discipline and structure and order in the home. And I believe that I have brought that, and I have assisted my daughter to grow late into their teenage years without having brought a child, or they tell me that they haven't been with men. I haven't tested them, and I believe them because I see how they behave. So what I'm saying to you, Leroy, is that the best institution and environment and incubator for raising children is marriage, my brother. We can point out the negatives, all these negatives that I've also pointed out, but look, your chances are much better to bet on a marriage life than like being single, enjoying and making children all over the show. Thanks, KG.
All right, thank you so much, Victor. Much appreciated. You can kindly mute on your part. Senzo, I believe you spoke to Leroy, né? But Confusa.
Yes, I have spoken to Leroy. We are sorted.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, no. I just wanna thank everyone actually today. With the kind of respect that we are seeing here today, it is really, really, we have to clap our hands and say hooray. Thank you so much, guys, for all your submissions. Even though we were some submissions, some people were disagreeing with them. They did it in a very respectful manner, and I really commend that. Let us please continue with the same kind of energy moving forward. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much, Senzo. Much appreciated. And before we close, I just wanted to make a few announcements. I don't think we have done so. It's a bittersweet moment. And it is with that view that we let everyone know that we have lost members of the team, and not in the other way, but we have lost members of the team. Mimi is no longer part of Makoya, and she has moved on to build her own brand. And we implore you guys to, if you do have the time and everything, please go support her. I think she's been regularly doing lives over the past few weeks or so. So she's building her own brand, and therefore she will be continuing to do that, and she will no longer be part of Makoya. But as you saw earlier on, she did come to the comments to greet and everything. So yeah, so that is basically the case. She no longer stands for Makoya. She is doing her own brand. So we just wanted to make sure that that is clear, and just people know what is happening. Also, another member is Skami. He has also moved on to his own path, and he's no longer part of Makoya team. So those are the news that we have today. Bittersweet, because people need to grow, they need to do what they need to be doing, and bitter because no one likes loss. These are very great individuals, and they have made a great impact onto the platform and the show. And yeah, going forward, we hope to grow also as a platform, and we really appreciate your support in how you have supported us in the past, and how you're continuing to do so by liking, sharing, sending your gifts and all of that. And we really, really appreciate you. And I was saying this yesterday, that to the team, that for me, my unsung heroes are always the people who are joining us every single day. They are not able to comment, they are not able to get into the panel, but we always see them there tapping, sharing, liking the live. We really, 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 really appreciate you guys, and continue to do so. And yeah, so we are also growing. There are a couple of things that we have done. We are working with sponsors and all of that. So we are hoping to do bigger and greater things as we continue. And Lyra did say that there might be something coming through on Thursday. So you might be wanting to look forward to that and be around for that. And yeah, I think at this point, I'd like to thank everyone who has contributed to the panel, the different opinions. I have learned a couple of things that I need to go research. There's the Swiss and how the Swiss are doing their things there. There is the history that one has given us that I need to go study myself, get a little bit acquainted with that. So yeah, we really, really appreciate all your contributions, and we will see you guys again tomorrow. And am I forgetting anything, Leroy?
You're gonna tell people to actually go look for the replays more YouTube. Actually, Makoya rundown. Happy, you can get your bottle for 150, delivery not included. But anyway, working can I romela DM it also, and they're like, let's see what we can do. And hey, guys, how's about Lonyala? Sky Nyala. Outla. Barking can do not let peer pressure or no, this and that. You do it because you want to do it, not because mama are he maloma are bana ba kae lenyalo le kae monna o kae. Do it for you. Marfedere. Me, I'm Oprah, guys. Minang awa. Minang shati, right.
Leroy, Oprah has money.
Naming nemali ya mus.
Oprah has money.
Nine maliam nami. Listen.
All right. Much appreciated, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day. Let's meet again tomorrow, 10:20. We are here. For those who have joined us for the first time today, we appreciate you. We are Makoya Rundown. We are here Monday to Friday, 10:20. So we have wonderful conversations, grow, and do these type of conversations. So please join in, follow, like, support, and we really, really appreciate it. See you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.